Do you wake up 3 to 4 times every night just to pee, yet never feel fully empty? If you're over 60 and your bladder feels like it's running the show, robbing you of deep sleep, peace of mind, and even your mornings, you're not alone. But here's what no one tells you: it's not just aging, it's your nightly habits. 5 common things you do every evening may be quietly inflaming your prostate, trapping urine, and forcing you awake again and again. And the scariest part, you may already be doing all 5 without even realizing it. But there's good news. These habits are reversible. No pills, no surgeries, just smart, simple changes you can start tonight. In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly what to avoid and how to reclaim deep, uninterrupted sleep again. If this sounds like your life, right now, drop a 1 in the comments. It's the fastest way for us to connect, and it tells me you're ready to take your nights back. Also, feel free to share your age or where you're watching from. I'd love to know who's tuning in so I can bring you more real practical solutions that actually work. And if you find this helpful, please like and subscribe because your journey to better nights starts right here. Here's the truth: most men never hear from their doctor. Waking up 2, 3, even 4 times a night to urinate is common, but it's not normal. And it's not inevitable. What's causing it isn't simply your age, it's pressure. Silent, unrelenting pressure that builds from the inside out. That pressure comes from an enlarged prostate, a condition known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. It's not cancer, it's not deadly, but it is disruptive. It narrows the urethra, squeezes the bladder, and sends false alarms to your brain all night long. Alarms that say, wake up, go now, even when your bladder is barely half full. And here's the shocking part: according to the Cleveland Clinic, up to 90% of men over 80 have BPH symptoms. But what most men never realize is this: their nighttime habits are making those symptoms worse every single evening. Imagine your prostate like a sponge, already swollen with age. Then imagine applying pressure from all sides: too much fluid, too much sodium, too much tension, too much weight pressing down for 8 straight hours. Now repeat that night after night for years. No wonder you wake up exhausted. No wonder you can't remember the last time you slept straight through the night. And no wonder your mornings feel foggy, your stream feels weaker, and your confidence slowly slips away. But here's the good news: this cycle can be broken. In fact, many men who made just a few small changes to their evening routines, drinking water earlier, adjusting their sleeping position, emptying their bladder, properly reported better sleep within 5 to 7 nights. Some even saw a dramatic difference in just 3. Because when you take the pressure off your prostate, your entire system recalibrates. Your bladder stops sending false alarms. Inflammation begins to calm. Your body enters deeper stages of sleep, and the fatigue that's been dragging you down for years finally begins to lift. So if you've been blaming your age, it's time to stop. The real culprit isn't the number on your birth certificate, it's what you do or don't do after the sun goes down. And in just a moment, I'll walk you through the 5 most common nighttime mistakes men over 60 make and how to reverse them, one gentle shift at a time. 1. Drinking too much water after 7 p.m., activating the midnight reservoir. You've probably heard it your entire life: drink more water. And it's true, hydration is essential for nearly every function in your body. But there's one detail most doctors forget to mention, especially for men over 60, when you hydrate matters just as much as how much you hydrate. Here's the scenario: you've had dinner, you're winding down and out of habit, or perhaps to flush out toxins, you down a tall glass of water while watching the evening news, maybe even 2. It seems harmless. After all, staying hydrated is healthy. Right. But let's look at what's happening inside your body. As the day ends, your kidneys naturally slow their filtration rate, your bladder prepares for rest, and your body shifts into repair mode. But when you suddenly pour in a rush of fluid late in the evening, you overload a system that was getting ready to sleep. That excess water pushes rapidly into your bladder, which is already under pressure from your enlarged prostate. And that's when the cycle begins. You fall asleep, only to be yanked awake by the urgent need to urinate. But here's the frustrating part: you get to the bathroom and the stream is weak. It takes effort to start, and you finish with the nagging feeling you didn't quite empty. You return to bed, try to settle down again, and then an hour or two later, it starts all over again. This isn't just about broken sleep, it's about your prostate being subjected to wave after wave of unnecessary pressure. Every time your bladder stretches to accommodate that extra fluid, it presses directly against your prostate, a gland already inflamed and narrowed from benign prostatic hyperplasia BPH. Over time, this creates a state of chronic irritation. More pressure, more inflammation, more interrupted sleep, and gradually your days begin to feel just as depleted as your nights. But here's the encouraging part. This cycle is surprisingly easy to break. The solution is something called a hydration taper, and it starts by simply front-loading your fluid intake. Instead of drinking heavily in the evening, aim to consume about 75% of your daily water before 3 or 4 p.m. Have a bottle with you throughout the day so you're not scrambling to catch up at night. With dinner, enjoy a moderate glass of water. And after 7 p.m., keep it minimal, just a few small sips to soothe your throat if needed. But what if I get thirsty at night? That's a fair concern. And often what you're feeling isn't true dehydration, but mouth dryness from low humidity. In that case, using a bedside humidifier or simply swishing a small amount of water and spitting it out can satisfy the urge without flooding your system. One more tip, many men mistake the urge to drink for hunger or habit. So instead of reflexively reaching for a glass, ask yourself, do I actually feel dry? Or am I just unwinding? Because your prostate doesn't need more water at 9 p.m. What it needs is peace. And when you let it rest, you'll finally be able to rest too. 2. Eating salty or processed foods at night, the hidden saboteur. You might think a warm bowl of canned soup or a quick microwave dinner is a harmless way to end the day. After all, it's convenient, comforting, and easy to prepare, especially if you're not cooking for anyone but yourself. But here's the truth most men never realize until it's too late. Your dinner may be quietly working against your prostate while you sleep. Let's talk sodium. Salt in moderation isn't the villain. But the problem lies in how modern processed foods are absolutely loaded with it, and how the body responds to that excess late in the evening. When you consume a high sodium meal at night, your tissues retain water like a sponge. That's your body's natural reaction. Salt is a water magnet. But what happens next is the real problem. During sleep, your body shifts from activity to detox and drainage. It starts pushing out that retained fluid. But now your system is trying to offload excess water and cope with an already enlarged prostate. It's a perfect storm. The result, a bladder that fills too fast too often, forcing you to wake up sometimes like clockwork at 1:30 a.m., 3:30 a.m., and again before sunrise. And the consequences don't stop there. High sodium intake doesn't just disrupt your sleep, it subtly fuels inflammation throughout your body, especially in delicate tissues like the prostate. Chronic fluid retention puts the pelvic region in a constant state of mild swelling and congestion. Circulation slows. The blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to the lower urinary tract become sluggish, and the prostate, already struggling under age-related changes, stays inflamed, tender, and overreactive. Even worse, this inflammation doesn't stay confined to the night. You'll feel it the next morning as pelvic heaviness, difficulty initiating urination, or that frustrating sense of not being fully empty, even when you are. But you don't have to overhaul your life to fix this. You just need to make smarter, nighttime food choices. Here's how: first, steer clear of common sodium bombs, canned soups, frozen dinners, deli meats, boxed meals, and salty snacks like chips and crackers. These aren't just high in salt, they're also low in the nutrients your body actually needs to restore itself overnight. Second, swap in anti-inflammatory low-sodium options for dinner. A simple baked sweet potato with grilled fish or skinless chicken. Steamed vegetables like broccoli or zucchini. A small bowl of brown rice with turmeric and olive oil. Or even a bowl of plain oatmeal with cinnamon. Third, season wisely. Herbs like garlic, thyme, oregano, rosemary, and turmeric not only add flavor but also offer natural anti-inflammatory benefits. You'll be amazed how quickly your body responds to clean, gentle food, especially after sunset. And here's something most men don't expect once you reduce your evening salt intake. Your body lets go of fluid more gradually, and you may begin sleeping through the night within days. Because every unnecessary trip to the bathroom isn't just about urgency, it's your body crying out trying to balance what you overloaded it with the night before. Give your system a break. Let your prostate breathe. And remember, you're not just eating for satisfaction. You're eating for silence, stillness, and the deep restorative sleep your body has been begging for. 3. Holding in urine at night, turning your bladder into a pressure cooker. It's 2:15 a.m. You stir in bed and feel that familiar pressure low in your abdomen, the nudge from your bladder that says it's time to go. But you're warm, comfortable. The thought of stepping onto the cold floor, fumbling through the dark, and breaking your sleep seems like a bigger hassle than the urge itself. So you roll over, squeeze your eyes shut, and tell yourself, I'll hold it till morning. But what seems like a minor act of willpower is, in fact, one of the most damaging things you can do for your prostate and your bladder. Here's why: your bladder is a muscular organ designed to expand as it fills with urine and to contract when it's time to empty. But that expansion has limits. When you ignore the urge and force it to stretch beyond capacity, especially night after night, it becomes irritated, overworked, and inflamed. And that's just the beginning. A full bladder doesn't simply expand upward, it also pushes downward and backward directly onto the prostate. For a man with an already enlarged prostate, this added mechanical pressure is like stacking bricks on a sore muscle. It compresses the urethra even more, increases internal inflammation, and triggers even more frequent and frustratingly unproductive urges later in the night. And here's where it gets riskier: by holding urine in for too long, you create the perfect environment for bacteria to thrive. Residual urine left sitting in the bladder, especially warm and stagnant, is a breeding ground for infection. For older men, urinary tract infections, UTIs aren't just uncomfortable, they can lead to fever, confusion, and serious complications. And once they occur, they tend to come back again and again. Just 30 minutes of holding it in once or twice a night can lead to months of discomfort. So, what's the solution? First, change the mindset. Going to the bathroom at night isn't a sign of weakness or aging, it's a signal of wisdom. It's your body trying to protect itself from overload. Every time you respond promptly, you reduce internal pressure and allow your bladder and prostate to return to a calm, natural rhythm. Second, make it as easy as possible to follow through. Keep a pair of slip-on slippers beside your bed. Use a low-level nightlight in the hallway or bathroom so you're not stumbling in the dark. Avoid clutter on the floor. Nothing should stand between you and relief. Third, remove the inner debate. If you feel the urge even slightly, get up and go. Don't wait for it to become urgent or painful. The earlier you respond, the less strain on your body and the faster you can return to sleep. Here's a reframe that often helps: you're not breaking sleep. You're preserving your health. You're giving your prostate a break. You're preventing inflammation. You're keeping your system clean and infection-free. Because ignoring the signal doesn't make the problem go away. It builds up, it compresses, it simmers. Until one night your body forces you to listen, only this time it's with burning pain, cloudy urine, or a visit to the ER. Don't wait for that moment. Start responding now. Your bladder isn't just storing fluid, it's sending a message. And every time you answer that message, you take one step closer to healing, control, and quiet nights again. 4. Sleeping on your stomach, silent pressure on the prostate. All night long. It's one of the most overlooked habits, and yet it could be sabotaging your prostate health every single night without you even realizing it. Sleeping on your stomach may feel familiar, even comforting. Maybe it's how you've slept since childhood, but if you're a man over 60, this position might be doing more harm than good, especially to your lower abdomen and prostate. Let's break down what really happens when you lie face down for 7 to 8 hours. When you sleep on your stomach, the full weight of your upper body, your chest, your stomach, and even your internal organs shifts forward. Gravity pulls everything downward directly onto your bladder and the prostate gland that sits just beneath it. The pressure might seem minor, but it's consistent, relentless. And over hundreds of nights, it begins to add up in ways you can't ignore. Think of it like this: rest your chin in your hand for a few minutes. Not bad right now. Imagine keeping that same pressure for 8 straight hours. You'd wake up with a sore jaw, a stiff neck, and possibly even numbness. That's what your pelvic floor experiences when you sleep on your stomach, except it doesn't complain in words. It sends signals through swelling, sluggish flow nocturia, and low-grade inflammation. And here's what's even more important: your prostate is highly sensitive to congestion and restricted blood flow. When it's compressed, all night long circulation drops. Oxygen delivery slows, lymphatic drainage becomes less efficient. That means waste products like inflammatory byproducts stick around longer than they should, irritating nearby tissues and making an already enlarged prostate feel even more tender and reactive. Over time, this leads to a vicious cycle: increased pelvic pressure, reduced urine flow, greater nighttime urgency, and persistent inflammation that never quite calms down. Now, if this sounds familiar, waking up with pelvic tightness, a dull ache, or feeling heavier down there in the morning, you're not imagining it. It may not be your bladder or even your diet. It could simply be the way you sleep. So, how do you fix it? First, consider switching to side sleeping, preferably on your left side. This position is known to improve circulation, reduce organ compression, and relieve pressure on the lower abdomen. Second, build a sleep support system with a few simple pillow tricks. Place a firm pillow between your knees to align your hips and reduce torque on your spine. Hug a soft pillow to your chest to prevent your shoulders from collapsing forward. Tuck a pillow behind your back to stop yourself from rolling back onto your stomach in the middle of the night. Third, if you prefer to sleep on your backside, a small pillow under your knees. This helps flatten your lower spine and takes pressure off your bladder and pelvic floor. Changing a lifelong sleep position isn't easy. It may feel strange at first, but within a week or two, most men notice a difference: less pressure, fewer nighttime wake ups, and a sense of lightness they hadn't felt in years, because your body can't recover if it's under silent pressure all night long. And your prostate. It needs space, oxygen, and freedom to heal, not 8 hours of compression in the dark. You spend one third of your life in bed. Make sure those hours are helping, not hurting you. 5. Skipping the final trip to the bathroom, leaving a time bomb in your bladder. It's a small decision, one most men don't even think about. You're already tucked in, the room is dark, the sheets are warm, and your head sinks comfortably into the pillow. You feel a slight urge to urinate, but it doesn't seem pressing. You tell yourself it can wait until morning, so you ignore it. And that single decision, it may be silently fueling your worst prostate symptoms. Here's what's actually happening. Even a small amount of leftover urine, just 50 to 100 milliliters, can sit in the bladder for 6 to 8 hours while you sleep. That stagnant fluid creates constant low-level pressure against the bladder walls and, by extension, the prostate. Not only does this prevent both organs from resting, it also triggers inflammatory signals that keep your pelvic region on high alert all night long. You might not fully wake up. You may even think you slept through, but your body didn't rest, and your prostate didn't heal. Even worse, that warm, undisturbed environment becomes the perfect breeding ground for bacteria. Over time, this can lead to chronic irritation, urinary tract infections, or that persistent morning sensation that your bladder never truly empties even when it does. It's a hidden cycle most men never connect. Skipping that last bathroom trip, overnight urine retention, morning inflammation, urgency, and fatigue, more daytime frustration, and poorer nighttime sleep. So, what's the fix? Start treating that final bathroom trip as non-negotiable, just like brushing your teeth or turning off the lights. Even if you don't feel the urge, make it part of your routine. Why? Because your bladder and prostate function best when they're given a true rest period free from pressure and irritation. And if you really want to optimize it, use the technique known as double voiding. Here's how it works. Go to the bathroom as usual. After finishing, take 3 deep, slow breaths to relax your pelvic muscles. Lean slightly forward, sit still, and gently attempt to urinate again. You'll often be surprised a second smaller stream will follow. That's residual urine that would have otherwise stayed trapped in your bladder all night, building heat tension and irritation. This simple 2-minute habit can dramatically reduce nighttime discomfort, decrease the frequency of morning urgency, and give your prostate a full night's break from mechanical stress. And remember, urination isn't just about responding to a desperate signal. It's about system maintenance. Just as you wouldn't leave dirty dishes in the sink overnight or your car running in the garage, don't leave your bladder half full when heading into a critical repair phase. Sleep. Your prostate has enough to deal with. Don't let your habits add to its burden. Instead, empty the tank, reset the system, and give your body the deep pressure-free recovery it deserves. Let's bring it all together. You've just uncovered 5 hidden habits that may be quietly sabotaging your sleep, your bladder control, and your prostate health. The best part, none of them require medication, surgery, or anything extreme. Just small, smart adjustments made in the quiet hours before bed. Here's your new evening checklist. Hydrate earlier in the day, let your bladder rest after 7 p.m. Skip the salt, opt for clean, calming meals that help your system unwind. Answer nature's call immediately. Don't let your bladder turn into a pressure cooker. Sleep smart, shift away from stomach sleeping, and let gravity work for you, not against you. Always empty your bladder before bed. Use the double voiding technique to start the night clean and pressure-free. Simple shifts, powerful results. And here's the promise. If you implement just these 5 changes tonight, you may begin noticing deeper sleep, fewer bathroom trips, and a lighter, more refreshed feeling within 1 week, because your body wants to heal. It's just waiting for you to stop doing the things that keep it in survival mode and finally give it permission to rest. Sleep is not a luxury. It's your body's repair time, and your prostate, it's not working against you. It's simply asking for a break from pressure, from habits, from years of silent strain. Growing older doesn't mean giving up control. It means learning how to work with your body, not against it. So start tonight. Just one change, one small decision, and see what happens when you give your body the peace it's been waiting for. How did today's content resonate with you? Did anything make you reflect more deeply on how you care for your health? Feel free to share your age, your year of birth, and where you're watching from. We truly value getting to know our viewers better so we can continue bringing you meaningful insights and practical tools to support your well-being every day. And if you found today's message helpful, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on the kind of content that helps you live healthier longer, one day at a time.